Bet you thought I wasn't gonna make 12:45, did you? Off by a few seconds. I guess that makes me a failure. I don't know. Whatever. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, out in the digital environment that connects directly to Twitch television and allows me to broadcast my feed right into your brains. I'm actually fucking around with your thoughts right now, and your mother would be very, very disappointed in you. I am Flynn Church, and this is the Church of Flynn, the holy place where games come to get played and maybe enjoyed. I don't know. Sometimes they don't. Today we are returning to the welcoming arms of Legend Entertainment at the constant urging of Carr. Hi Carr, I see you're actually out there right now too. Carr is a big fan of Legend Entertainment in general, and you may remember if you were here with us, we ran straight through Callahan's Cross Time Saloon, which was one of Legend Entertainment's last games. Adventure games anyway, before they switched gears and went over to action titles. They joined up with Epic and helped them make Unreal, and then a few games later they just sort of evaporated. Who knows? Mission Critical is not a licensed title. It is not a licensed game. It does not use somebody else's franchise like Shannara or Ween. I think Ween does, or Callahan's, but instead throws us headfirst into science fiction. And I like science fiction. Science fiction, science fiction, science fiction. Say it with me. Science fiction, science fiction. Yes, their last one was Blackstone Chronicles. John Salt's Blackstone Chronicles, an attempt to cash in on a trend in the late 90s of using literary celebrities as sort of, I don't know, leverage. Who knows? Anyway, let's get rid of the title there. Boop. That's the one I wanted to get rid of as well. And then we'll swing over to DOSBox, which I set up in advance. Give me a cookie. Everything was set up in advance. Now, I gotta remember I installed this, and I gotta see as it works, because this was a 3 CD game. Well, I'm going to assume it's Mission. Boop. Hit the button. Let's doing something.
Lexington now entering low orbit. Altitude 400 kilometers. Initiating OMS burn to stabilize orbit. ADIs are calibrated for 320 kilometers. Roger that. Jericho is 5,000 meters behind Lexington. Looks like a textbook approach so far.
What have you got, Tran?
Surface scanners have picked up a hard echo from a point 80 kilometers north of the Rift Valley in Sector 4.
Is it Pandora?
Jericho thinks so. They started the countdown for the launch of the planetary lander. The crew is on board, and the lander's been prepped for launch.
What the hell is that?
Sensors are picking up a contact coming from the other side of Persephone. It's accelerating at 100 gravities. We have another contact.
UN battle drones. Sound general quarters.
Make that 4 contacts. Probable identification, United Nations Autonomous Strike Craft, Galley class. The drones will be in range of the Lexington in 110 seconds.
Communications. Give me the Jericho CO on audio. Tran, what do we have in the air?
We have 9 drones out front in a standard screen. All are now changing course to intercept. We now have multiple contacts. 10, 11, no, make that 12 incoming drones.
We need room. Take us out of orbit. Give me 1 G of acceleration on a vector 130 degrees, Mark 30. Power up the railguns and pulse cannons. If any of the drones make it through our screen, begin ECM when they get within 10,000 meters.
Yes, sir. Course 130 by 30, acceleration 1G.
Captain McCain standing by, sir.
Steven, what's going on?
Captain, we're under attack by UN battle drones. Abort the lander countdown and secure the ship. Close up within 1,000 meters of the Lexington. We'll cover you with our close-in combat system.
All 9 fleet defense drones are accelerating for an intercept.
Sir, telemetry is coming in from all drones.
There's Mama. Looks like a Geneva-class heavy cruiser.
First one's on the scene. Like hell. They've been waiting for us.
The attacking drones have engaged and destroyed my fleet defense units. There are 5 surviving UN drones. All are now decelerating and will be in range within 15,
Captain McCain is
14,
requesting instructions,
13,
sir.
12,
Stand by.
11,
Combat, hear this.
10,
This is the bridge.
9,
Stand
8,
by for combat.
7,
Nothing we can do.
6, 5, 4, 3, 2,
Here they come.
1.
Incoming drones in R6. We've been hit. Heavy damage in engineering. The Jericho has been hit. Breach on deck 2. 3 o'clock. The backup coolant systems are coming online. Oh my God. Losing coolant. This one is going to melt down if we don't seal that system. The ICS is down. I repeat, we've lost the close-in combat system. All but one system are down. We aren't gonna make it.
UN vessel. This is Captain Stephen Dana of the USS Lexington. I am prepared to offer complete and unconditional surrender. I wish to evacuate my crew and that of the science vessel Jericho using intership shuttles. We are to be taken aboard your vessel and treated as prisoners of war under the Geneva Convention. Please, call off the attack.
This is Commander Garrick of the UNS Dharma. Your surrender is accepted. Deactivate your weapon systems and power down. You have 20 minutes to abandon ship. Garrick out.
Understood. Lexington out. Clear the bridge and prepare to abandon ship. Tran, stay here with me.
Sir, what the hell are you doing? We surrendered? Are you out of your mind? We can't surrender. That's not even an option during a normal TAC-op. I should relieve you of command. But we can still take out the Jericho ourselves with a ship-to-ship missile and then put the Lexington on self-destruct. We can't let those UN bastards get their hands on anything or anybody that will give away this mission.
They won't, Tran.
Oh, the hell they won't. You're just about handing it to them. I mean, you even want to evacuate the crew. I can't believe this. Why did we even bother fighting back?
If you're finished, Commander, I don't have any intention of turning the Lexington or the Jericho over to Garrick.
Sir?
There's very little time. You are to take Randall down to the weapons bay and pull a 500-kiloton nuclear warhead off of a ship-to-ship missile. Now use the TAC console to arm the thing. Set the warhead to detonate based on proximity, and cancel out the mass of the Lexington and the intership shuttle. Now stow the damn thing in a compartment on the shuttle. When that's done, go and complete your final log entry, and return to the shuttle bay. You understand me now, Tran? I'm going to sound the call to abandon ship. The crews of the Lexington and Jericho will use intership shuttles to transfer over to the Dharma.
The bomb will go off when the shuttle is pulled into the Dharma's docking bay.
And vaporize Garrick and that goddamn ship.
Everybody in both crews will be dead.
All but one. When the Dharma runs a scan of the two shuttles, most everybody has to be accounted for. I think we can get away with one missing body. I intend to leave one person on board the Lexington, unconscious. It will be up to him to complete the mission. We're all dead anyway. At least we're gonna go together, Tran.
I understand, Captain.
Very well. I'll meet you in the shuttle bay in 15 minutes.
Aye, aye, sir.
Tran has taken care of loading the thermonuclear warhead on the shuttle. I've given the order to abandon ship. The crewman I've selected is unconscious on deck 2. God willing, you'll be able to patch this ship together, transfer the planetary lander from the Jericho, and finish this mission.
Abandoned ship. Abandoned ship. All hands report to the shuttle bay for evacuation.
Computer. End Captain's log entry. Open AV data store Melissa 4. Record personal message. Audio only. Encryption Delta. To be decoded only on access by Melissa Dana. The war took your mother soon after you were born. Now the war has taken me. I'm truly sorry that you must grow up with holograms as your only real memories of us. You're so beautiful, Melissa. Just like your mother. Please, try not to be bitter. One of the reasons that we're gone is so that you'll have a chance to live in the only way we believe is right. Keep us with you always. I love you. Computer. End message.
Abandoned ship. Abandoned ship. All hands report to the shuttle bay for evacuation.
Lexington shuttle to Dharma. We are now leaving the Lexington.
Dharma to Lexington shuttle. We detect one human life sign aboard the Lexington. Explain or be destroyed.
Lexington shuttle here. Your deadline gave us no time to search the ship for casualties. Subject may be unconscious.
Unfortunate. Do not attempt to turn back. Your approach to the Dharma is cleared. Garrick, out.
And thus we begin, I guess. Oh, it's no Wing Commander 3, that's for damn sure. Picard would be very disappointed in you, Worf. He'd be very, very, very disappointed in you surrendering and blowing yourselves up. What kind of solution was that? Michael Dorn, Patricia Charbonneau, who I have no idea who that is. Henry Strozier, who I really don't know who the hell that is. Star in a game you never played, by a studio you don't remember. Together in Fission Critical. I constantly get this game title confused with Critical Point, which is a rather notorious pornographic game. This is not a pornographic game. Technical direction by Mark Posh. He drives a Porsche around the neighborhood. Is this supposed to be... Oh, I forget, this is 1996. These effects were neat then. Live action, directed by Peter Mullet. Did he have one? Live action produced by Kathleen Boober. Biddly 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 boop. Drugs provided to the player by graphics and special effects by Panoptic Imaging. The Panopticon. When on Gallifrey, visit it. Insert disc 2. Now this is the part where I try to remember how I do this. In theory I should just be able to do... Hi, could we? But there we go. I gotta find the right program. Where did I put that? Ah, there it is. And the right folder. You guys are gonna see some extra stuff for a second here. Because I didn't realize disc 1 was the opening. I kind of had assumed that there was more to it. That's what I get for thinking, isn't it? Mounting image. Image mounted. Disk 2 is now in the drive. Okay, it worked. Awesome. You remember the captain coming up behind you as you were heading for the elevator to abandon ship. You felt a sting from the hypo. The captain eased you down to the deck. I've seen enough gay porn to know where this is going. He wished you luck, and then the world went dark.
Emergency decompression alert.
You regained
Pressure
consciousness.
is dropping rapidly on deck 2.
You are in the central corridor on deck 2 of the USS Lexington's habitat module. You have a piece of paper, the captain's note. I'd like to read it. It's up to you now. Tran has recorded a briefing on the ship's condition and your immediate objectives. The main computer is down, but you can access the briefing through the wardroom ACN. Augmented computer node, I believe it is? Yes, it is, in fact. Also, you may need access to some of the crew staterooms on decks 2 and 3. Because staterooms are protected by the privacy laws, you will need a VIS override. Or you will need VIS override codes to get inside. You'll find a crew manifest with what I think are the important codes in my stateroom. My VIS override code is A3X5. Good luck, Steve Decker. Or Stud, or whatever. Alright, so we are now on the ship. Look at the corridor. Yeah, it's a corridor. Thank you for the vivid descriptions, Gabe. Oh, it's an elevator. Let's look at the elevator housing. The elevator shaft runs all the way from the bridge of the ship to the weapons bays, reactor spaces, and engineering areas of the Lexington. I'm guessing I can't use it, though, because... Oh, I can walk closer. This one actually has animated moving, though. It doesn't do weird transitional scene flops. Let's push the elevator call button.
Deck 2 is under damage control condition Zebra and has been sealed off from the rest of the ship.
Oh god, we're under condition Zebra. If we're not careful, we'll be under condition Afro Circus, and then where will we be?
Emergency decompression alert. Pressure is dropping rapidly on deck 2.
Which happens to be the deck I'm on, so that's kind of not awesome. No, I would like to not quit. Let's see here. Volume. No, volume seems okay. Oh, also. Let's cancel that, actually. Map! Wonderful map! Doesn't tell me shit, but it's there. Excuse me. Oh, excuse me. Ugh. Hate sneezing. Look at. This is a standard intercompartmental door. So, alright. Let's open it. This is the secure storage area where critical optoelectronic and mechanical spares are kept in reserves. Well, I don't know what any of this is, and it's all identified by code number, so... The box is... I picked a random box and I got a note. That's funny, in a sense. Let's read the note. Yo! I can't have fast read that one. The Coruscalatron was busted during the fight between Slocum and Gazer. I took the last EC 2001 so we could watch the latest holovids on the final log of the trip out. Mark. Mark, you're an asshole. I don't know why, but I just have this sneaking suspicion that you are a complete twat waffle. Call me Kooky. I haven't played Labyrinth of Time. Oh, it's a fancy computer room. This is the Lexington State-of-the-Art Communication Center, the 22nd century equivalent of the Radio Shack on an old surface vessel. This room has just about everything needed for intership and ship-to-ground communications, including tachyon beam uplinks, lasers, and microwave transmitters. 1 second. Okay. Making sure my mic was actually on, because I forgot to check that my mic was actually on. Oh good, then I'm glad I didn't play it. These status panels show an updated log of message traffic sent and received from both comm center stations. The sources and destinations of all intership and interstellar communications are listed. So what do they say? Most recent listings include routine intership communications between the Lexington and the Jericho, downloads of bulletins, and low-priority traffic from the TR-8010 tachyon relay beacon. and a series of long exchanges with the Alliance base on Erebus routed through the TRB beacon orbiting the Star 70 Ophiuchi. I don't know. I turned it off for a while, so... This large screen and console underneath provide access to the faster-than-light Tachyon Communication System, or TCS. The TCS is the most advanced long-range communication systems in history. Tachyon emissions! You try bringing up the TCS control interface and it prompts you for a password. When you don't enter one, it times out and displays a looping message that is currently being sent out on the Tachyon carrier waves.
All Alliance ships, this is the USS Lexington. Hull ID, Lima Charlie Bravo Hotel 09er. Mayday, Mayday. We are under attack by a UN Geneva-class heavy cruiser. Our defensive screen has been penetrated. Our mission has been compromised. The ship has sustained serious damage. The electronics in the external communications array were shorted out by an enemy strike.
Oh, I didn't mean to do that. So if I hit anything, it skips the message. That's good to know.
All Alliance ships, this is the USS Lexington. Hull ID, Lima Charlie Bravo Hotel 09er. Mayday, Mayday. We are under attack by a UN Geneva-class heavy cruiser. Our defensive screen has been penetrated. Our mission has been compromised. The ship has sustained serious damage. The electronics in the external communications array were shorted out by an enemy strike while we were moving the dish to acquire new transmission coordinates. Our dish is now locked in a useless position. If you receive this message, please retransmit to the Alliance base on Erebus as soon as possible. Stand by for a coded telemetry burst with mission data under paradox encryption.
Emergency decompression alert.
Okay.
Pressure is dropping rapidly.
Riddle me this. Why does your Tachyon beam transmission dish actually have a useless position? Wouldn't you want it to be useful in every position, I guess? Am I weird for thinking that? Yes, well, I'm weird anyway, but you know, that's not what I was talking about. So, this computer terminal... Oh, this computer, that's the TCS. It's a chair. I like chairs. Chairs are comfy. Sit a while. Hi, Nemeth. How you doing? There are two contoured seats in front of a bewildering array of screens and consoles. I'd like to sit. Okay, I said sit on the chair. Okay, so sitting on the chair plays that message again. Good, good. So let's see, what's this computer terminal? This is a general-purpose terminal that gives access to the ship's computer systems. So let's use it.
Computer?
The main computer is down. Voice access to Deck 2 local systems only.
Where is everybody?
Where is everybody?
You are the only member of the crew currently on Deck 2. Because contact has been lost with the main computer, there is no information about crew status on any other deck.
They're dead, Dave. No, where is Kachansky? They're dead, Dave. They're dead, Dave. The only use you have for them now is perhaps to grit the walk. They're dead, Dave. That's your Red Dwarf moment for today.
What the hell is going on? Give me a status report.
Contact with the main computer system was lost at 22:31:22. Autonomic ship functions have been delegated to local nodes. At 22:45:07, internal sensors detected an impact and subsequent decompression in Deck 2 Stateroom 2 Bravo. A warning was issued to all personnel to evacuate Deck 2. At 22:50:10, all of Deck 2 was placed under damage control condition Zebra.
What is damage control condition Zebra?
Condition Zebra is the most serious of the 4 damage containment and control procedures and is implemented only if the survival of the ship is in doubt. Condition Zebra applies to all airtight compartments that have been sealed off from the rest of the ship due to hull integrity failure. No hatches, doors, or valves leading to or from the affected compartments may be opened without the authorization of the commanding officer.
It's time for the exposition computer.
What caused the impact?
Unknown. The initial pressure loss was immediate and catastrophic but was localized to one stateroom. The DCS knowledge base suggests that the damage may have been caused by a laser, particle beam, kinetic kill weapon, high-velocity micrometeorite, or a microfragment from a nearby explosion.
So it was immediate and catastrophic, but it only affected one room. Am I flying on the goddamn Space Titanic? Which is a different game.
What is the DCS knowledge base?
All decks are equipped with a local expert system known as the Damage Control System Knowledge Base, or DCS Knowledge Base.
You don't call it the DCS-KB. You just, oh God. The future is so clumsy.
Why impose condition Zebra for a loss of pressure in just one stateroom?
The initial pressure loss was contained in Stateroom 2 Bravo. Unfortunately, the door leading to Stateroom 2 Bravo was not designed as an airtight fitting and cannot withstand the pressure differential between the normal atmospheric pressure in the corridor outside and the vacuum inside the stateroom. Air is currently leaking around the door seals, an indication that the door may give way at any time.
How do I fix the damage?
Emergency hull patch kits can be found in the compartments directly over the general-purpose computer terminals installed in the common areas of each deck.
What will it take to secure from condition Zebra?
Hull integrity must be restored.
What is the status of life support for this deck?
Atmosphere replenishment for Deck 2 has been terminated in compliance with condition Zebra procedures.
I need access to the other decks.
Authorization from the commanding officer is required to enter or leave any compartments under condition Zebra.
What if I'm the last one on the ship? Would that make me commanding officer?
That is correct.
I need access to the other decks.
Authorization from the...
What if...
That is correct.
I'm done.
Access terminated by user.
Alright, 1 second here. I'm actually going to hit up the volume. And cut the,
Emergency decompression alert.
cut the
Pressure is
music
dropping
down
rapidly
some.
on Deck 2.
Okay, so we need to patch a hull breach. Probably need to find it first. And it wouldn't really help us to patch it if we can't find the kit. Judging from the sound, though, I think we found our bitch.
This stateroom is protected by the privacy laws. You are not the legal occupant assigned to this stateroom. A VIS override code is required to gain access to this space.
A VIS code I don't have.
This state...
Yes. Thanks. Alright, let's take a quick look at the map. Okay, so these are all the staterooms. Dollars to Dognuts, I don't have access to any of these just yet. And I'm willing to bet that one of these staterooms is what's leaking. That's kind of the obvious answer. Let's see what's on the other end of the corridor. My word, man, walk faster! Walk faster! Oh, this looks like a general access computer station. Why, it is. So let's open up the emergency cabinet. I get a hull patch kit! Yay! It has incited some some voice failings, apparently. Alright, what do we got? Molecular glue, gel foam spray, the patch, and a sheet of instructions. So let's read them. Spray gel foam on or near micrometeorite or beam weapon puncture. Foam will be suspended in air until a suction pulls it to the puncture. Foam will accrete on hull alloy as it is pulled through by escaping atmosphere. Once puncture has been temporarily sealed by the foam, apply molecular glue to fiber steel patch and place patch securely over puncture. NSN 592038519468.
Emergency decompression alert. Pressure is dropping rapidly on Deck 2.
If you waffle around too much, from what I understand, from what I remember, you can actually get killed
This
here.
state... Access...
Oh, wow, I got in. Huzzah. I didn't even read that part. The captain's stateroom is similar to the other officers' quarters on Deck 2 and Deck 3, which you haven't seen yet because you haven't gotten there yet. The stateroom is distinguished only by its location across from the wardroom. An official-looking bound volume sits on the captain's desk. Let's get some sleep. You feel uncomfortable lying on the captain's bed. It seems somehow inappropriate, because you're not a, bridge bunny. A quartz crystal viewport looks out on the reaches of space. Can I get into his computer?
USS Lexington, Captain's log.
You sit
I
down.
don't have much time. The bridge recorders and comm logs will have full transcripts of the events that led to the current situation. This is a subjective account intended for the captain's log only. I'm afraid any gaps must be filled in later using previous entries. A lot has gone wrong since we first arrived in orbit around Persephone. Godforsaken world at the end of a 68 light-year voyage that has tried my ship and my crew. The details of this mission are known only to myself, my XO Lieutenant Commander Tran, and the captain of the Jericho, the science ship we've escorted from Earth. The three of us have carried this secret, a burden that has gotten heavier during each week of the trip out. We knew that what we might find on Persephone could well help us turn the tide in the war with the United Nations. We knew that it might even change the course of human history. Things haven't worked out that way. And as strange as it seems, I think the crew knew towards the end that this was going to be a one-way trip. A sense of foreboding crept over the ship as Persephone came into visual range. As we got closer, I could see it in their eyes, in their drawn and exhausted faces. I could feel it in myself, an almost palpable dread that permeated every corner of the ship. It was justified. Nothing could have prepared us for the hell that was waiting on the other side of Persephone.
Are you done now? You interrupted me fucking twice, Michael Dorn. Jesus Christ, you're like interrupting
Emergency
Goat.
decompression alert.
Interrupting
Pressure is
Worf.
dropping
It's a new
rapidly on
name.
Deck 2.
Alright, I need the crew manifest, so I'm going to grab that, because he said to take it. What's he got? The captain apparently collected ancient paper books. 4 volumes sit on the desk. Their titles are Moby Dick, Brave New World, 1984, and A Sea of Stars. You pick up one of the books. These ancient volumes are bulky and heavy. Besides, you probably aren't going to have much time for leisure reading. You put the book back on the desk. A laser holoprint of Captain Dana and a young girl is propped up against the bulkhead. The captain's stateroom. I didn't want to look at his stateroom. I wanted to look at the holoprint. A laser holoprint of the Lexington is affixed to the bulkhead immediately above another holoprint depicting the Earth. So we have the crew manifest now. Let's raid his stuff. You pull open one of the drawers and look inside. You find nothing but clean uniforms. Disappointed, you push the drawer back into the bulkhead. Could I open the drawer I was pointing at? No. Let's open the cabinet. The cabinet is locked. Even if you could open it, all you would find is a collection of toilet articles, shoe polish, uniform decorations, valet in a spray, and other practical necessities of military life aboard ship. You know, I know toilet articles is stuff you read on the John, but I can't help but think the captain had a thing for, magazines about, commodes. Okay, so we have the manifest now. Let's give it a read. Classified, Gamma, top secret. A bunch of garbagey stuff I'm not going to repeat. Attached you will find the final crew manifest for mission 161, code Pandora, departure date 22 February 2134. These 3 new personnel assignments, blah, 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 blah. Your new communications officer is James Poole. Your new optoelectronics tech is Petty Officer 2nd Class Mark Aguilar. The 3rd billet has not been filled. Your special request to Oper's Lodgecom for the assignment of Supply Officer has been duly noted and is being processed. If the subject officer can be made available prior to the scheduled departure date, he will be assigned to your crew. Gee golly, who could the anonymous crew member be? Commanding officer, to be assigned day of departure. So, Dahl, Narang, Poole, Olivar, me, Falcon, Mandan, Tran, Dana. You thumb through the document until you reach 2 pages near the end covered with diagrams in the captain's handwriting. Alright. So, that's Narang, Oliver, Tran, Dahl, me, Poole. We don't have Poole or Tran's codes. We now have Narang, Olivar, Dahl. And, well, the
Emergency decompression alert. Pressure is dropping rapidly on Deck 2.
So we've got the patch kit, and we know that one of the staterooms had a problem, so let's see which one it is if we can get in there. And fix the leak before we all horribly die. There seems to be a breeze here. You can also hear a high, keening whistle coming from the vicinity of one of the doors.
This stateroom is protected by the privacy laws. You are not the legal occupant.
It's
Access
TX-11.
granted.
I just remember that one. Okay, so I can now go inside. This is a standard officer stateroom. Hey, look, a molecular model. I think I'll just take that. Nah, too awkward to carry around. What's this? A yellow card embossed with fancy gold lettering is affixed to the desk next to the personal computer unit. I think I'll take that. When you start to peel the card off the desk, it starts coming apart. You decide to leave the card alone. What's it say? A scientist on a Navy warship is like a whore in a gay bar, Dr. Anton Fujikawa. Right then. This is a general-purpose terminal that provides access to the ship's computer systems. You sit down and turn to face the display and keyboard on the desk.
Computer?
The main computer is down.
We've
Access
already
to-
been through that, so not going to go through it again. And still nothing.
Emergency decompression alert. Pressure
Still
is dropping
nothing.
rapidly on deck 2.
Theory of Artificial Quantum Singularities, Volume 3. Oh, that's light reading. This appears to be a collection of various ancient scientific books, including such titles as Darwin's The Voyage of the Beagle, Watson's Double Helix, and Eckhart's classic Unified Field Theory. Isn't that a Star Trek-y thing? Unified Field Theory? I don't know. So it has to be this door, which is the whole
This
bridge.
stateroom is
I think it's DC-21.
access denied.
Nope, it's apparently not.
This state
So it must be B-29.
access granted.
Okie dokie. We're now in. As soon as the door opens, you are pulled off your feet and through the door by the blast of air that feels like a hurricane. You are slammed into the bulkhead and on the far side of the stateroom and lose consciousness for a brief instant. When you come to, all hell seems to have broken loose. Well, there's our puncture. Okay, first off, we need some gel foam. Spray that shit. The first thing you notice is the freezing cold cyclone and a cloud of swirling debris. The next thing that registers is the unearthly, keening howl generated by the passage of air through a hole puncture on the far side of the bulkhead. So let's spray some foam on it. The container produces a fluffy cloud of foam that hangs in the air for a brief moment before being sucked towards the puncture. As the foam is pulled through the hole, where did I get whore from? It sticks to the surrounding metal. Soon the shriek of escaping air becomes a whimper and then stops completely. And everything falls to the ground. Now that's not going to hold, so we need to put the molecular glue on the patch, then put the patch on the hole puncture. You put the patch on the puncture and press it firmly into place. The molecular glue creates an atomic bond between the patch and hull metal, making the resulting seal nearly perfect. You discard the gel foam container and the patch kit instructions. Congratulations, the puncture has been plugged. Good. I didn't die. A book entitled Holographic Images of Fusion Plasma as Art lies on the floor. That kind of sounds more like it'd be a lava lamp. A book sits on the floor where it dropped after you fixed the hole puncture. It is a volume entitled The Collector's Coffee Table Book of Orbital Platforms. Somebody seems to be distinctly lacking in life.
The pressure on deck 2 has stabilized.
A book has
Deck
been
2
dropped
has
onto the
been
surface of
secured
the
from
desk.
damage control condition Zebra.
Good, we're okay. Ooh, what's this? A chipped holodisc sits on the floor. A lurid red holographic label is printed on the front of the disc. Can a label be lurid? A label on the holodisc reads Swedish Nudes in Null G. Looks interesting. Let's take it. Yoink. You snatch up the disc, realize it's been damaged beyond repair, and toss it back down again. What a pity. Of all the items in this stateroom, the disc looked like it might be the most interesting. Okay, nothing I haven't seen in there. Oh, there's a desk drawer. You try to open the desk drawer, but are unsuccessful. It must be jammed from the thermal stress created during the impact. Does the computer work?
Computer?
The main computer is down.
Any change in status?
The pressure on deck 2 has stabilized. Deck 2 has been secured from damage control condition Zebra.
I'm done.
Access terminated.
Well, that's something then. We're safe for the moment. Safer, anyway, I guess. So nothing of note in there. Well, now that we've taken care of that, let's go take a more careful look at this guy's room. Because I didn't even realize there was a drawer here. You open the desk drawer. What's in it? There is nothing of interest inside the desk drawer. Sad face. Okay, one of these is trans, and one of these I think is not mine. It's one I do have a key code for.
This stateroom is...
And I don't have the key code, it won't even let me try.
This stateroom is... Access granted.
Alright, we're going to whoever this is. This was Lieutenant Michael Dahl's stateroom. The binocular eyepiece of a retinal scanner is built into the safe. He has a safe? A heavy safe made of Erica alloy is secured to the bulkhead. You wonder briefly about the locking mechanism, but a binocular eyepiece to one side of the safe door is a dead giveaway. The safe is equipped with a retinal scanner. Guess that means I'll have to find his head. Yeah, just a second. Time to get some head. A disorganized pile of books sits on the medical officer's desk. They are mostly old philosophy books with titles like Wave-Particle Duality and the Nature of Self, The Tao of Computer-Assisted Healing, and Beyond Spaceship Earth, Searching for Meaning in the Universe. So he was a Buddhist engineer? It doesn't surprise me too much anymore. These drawers appear to be locked. You open the desk drawer. There's nothing in it. Sad face again. Well, unless I can get his safe open. You look in the eyepiece. You see two little green crosshair patterns that immediately begin moving from side to side. The retinal scanner hums and clatters to itself, but your retinal pattern is not key-coded in the scanner's memory. Nothing else happens. Can I delete
Computer?
Haxer?
I'm...
Never mind. It's a big, beautiful ship. It's a shame it's empty. There's no people on this ship. So let's see my door. Because I can't open the other door. I don't have that key code. This is your stateroom, a cramped space that grew painfully familiar during your 4-month voyage from Titan. You often wondered how the crew in the smaller quarters on decks 3 and 4 could stand the 6-month, 8-month, and even 12-month extended missions. A file pack of your personal effects sits on the floor of your stateroom. So what's in it? You know of nothing in the file pack that would be terribly useful at the moment. The contents consist mainly of holodisks to pass the time, souvenirs from your first tour in the Navy, and assorted non-perishable food items lacking from the limited menu of the mess hall ACD. So you put it there for no good reason. Okay. How awesome of you. You know what's in your desk drawer, and none of it isn't very interesting. You are all too familiar with the contents of that cabinet, from your shaving kit to the polish you use to keep your boots shined. None of it seems particularly useful at the present time. Yes, it's the same bunk you've been sleeping on for 4 long months. This is an old keepsake. Let me try that statement again using actual words. This is an old keepsake you found at a junk shop during a shore leave 3 years ago, back when you were still with the fleet tender U.S. Hesperus. The framed image is a pre-holographic emulsion-type photograph of one of Jupiter's moons. I see. On your desk, you see a notepad that you use for jotting thoughts and to-do lists. After reading the first item, you realize that these things that you had once considered important are now utterly trivial. This is an old planetary-style paperweight. It relies on gravitational pull to hold down papers, so it's a big, heavy object. You heft the paperweight in one hand. As you do this, violent thoughts race through your mind. They disturb you so much that you toss it back on the desk. I'm worried about myself now. These are the books that you brought aboard the Lexington. I'd like to read them. You already know these books well. Besides, this is not exactly the best time to be rereading your old classics. So my quarters are pretty damnable boring. And good afternoon to anybody who has come in since the last time I said good afternoon to anybody who has come in. It is a meet you to pleasure. I mean, a pleasure to meet you. Alright, we did not look in this room when we were over here before because, well, I was really busy trying not to get sucked out into space. This is the officer's wardroom. In the old surface Navy, the ship's wardroom was traditionally the officer's mess. The Lexington's wardroom serves more as the conference room for the briefings and meetings. I would like to sit on the conference table. You climb up on the conference table and sit down, facing the huge screen on the wall. Although you undoubtedly have the best seat in the house, the ASOC logo isn't much of a show, so you sit back down. A scale model of the USS Lexington is on display. The model is exquisitely detailed. A circular slot is set into the base of the display case next to the brass plaque. It looks like a keyhole. You would have to open the display case first before you can take that. You pound on the display case with your fists. Nothing happens. The plaque on the display case reads as follows. USS Lexington LCBH09, scale 900:1, presented with pride to the crew of the Lexington, February 20th, 2134, by Lieutenant James Poole. It's a nice model. It's only a model. So let's walk around the other side. View screen controls.
I'm sure you're wondering what's going on.
Yes, I am.
I'll explain.
Good.
You are probably aware that the Lexington was attacked by a UN ship. We were outgunned and on the verge of being destroyed when Captain Dana notified the UN captain of our desire to surrender. Garrick agreed to take the crew of the Lexington and Jericho aboard before destroying both ships. As I record this message, Garrick is waiting for us to transfer over to his ship on the Lexington shuttle. You are the only one left behind. If we're lucky, the UN bastard will ignore one crewman left on board the Lexington. We intend to detonate a thermonuclear device after our shuttle has been taken aboard the UN vessel. This will completely destroy their ship. It will also kill everyone on board both shuttles. This should leave you free to complete our mission. There is nothing more important than this mission, including the lives of the crew. We died so that you can finish what we started. Our ship was badly hurt during the UN attack. The first thing you must do is deal with the worst of the battle damage. There are problems which directly threaten the near-term survival of the ship. Now, first of all, the primary power reactor is headed for a meltdown because the coolant system has failed. The molten core will eat through the containment vessel of the reactor and set off the fuel for the fusion engines. The resulting explosion will completely destroy the Lexington and the nearby Jericho. You need to get to engineering and stop the runaway chain reaction. The meltdown is the top priority. When you deal with that problem, then you must get the central computer back in operation. Without that, you cannot complete the mission. Currently, all computer processing has been delegated to the smaller, decentralized computers that exist on each deck of the ship. They do not communicate with each other except on a very primitive level. Enough to keep what you might think of as subconscious ship functions going. There is no overall guiding intelligence in these autonomous systems. The ship's central computer is made up of Turing cores and is home to the complex software that gives the ship's computer its smarts. The higher functions of the ship's brain reside in the central computer cores. These cores are currently inoperative. The primary cores were destroyed and the secondary cores failed to activate the way they were supposed to. You must get the central computer back online. I've recorded one more message. You'll hear from me again when you get the central computer back in operation. I have key-coded the message so that the higher functions of the main computer will pick it up and display it for you as soon as the central cores are once again operational. Good luck. And be careful. Tran out.
Good luck, you're going to need it. As soon as the message ends, the ACN spits out a plastic card. Tran must have programmed the unit to regurgitate the card as soon as the briefing ended. Could you have not used the word regurgitate there? And, you know, side note, number one, was it really a good idea to put the obviously reactive reactor fuel right next to the fuel next to the reactor core, where if the metal that apparently the reactor core can eat through fails and opens up, you blow everybody up? And am I wrong, or did she just say that the computer runs on torrents? First a hive mind with the Borg, and now a cow mind. Moo, moo, moo. Okay, so we need to go down to engineering and deal with the reactor problem. So, time to go down to engineering, if I can get down to engineering. Fortunately, there's an elevator right here. So let's go down. Computer. Deck something. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, WRE. Weapons, reactor, and engineering I'm willing to bet. Use the elevator.
A yellow keycard is required to gain access to other decks.
Kind of funny, isn't it?
Access granted.
Boop. We are going to reactor spaces. Then we're going to die from radiation. Please don't irradiate me, I don't like it. 6WR.
Reactor spaces.
The elevator transports you to your new destination. Oh, good, more alarms. The last time I took a ladder down into engineering in the reactor, I got chased around by mutants and a sociopathic computer. We all remember that, don't we? Ha ha! This is the entrance to a honeycomb of access tunnels, crawlways, maintenance areas, and workspaces surrounding the innards of the Lexington's liquid-cooled reactor.
Warning. A coolant leak in the power reactor has contaminated the reactor spaces. You are in a radiation hazard area. All personnel must wear proper protective gear and carry radiation monitoring equipment.
The elevator won't go down to engineering, so the only way to get there is to go down through 5 levels of vertical access tunnels and reactor maintenance areas. Unfortunately, if Tran is right and the coolant system is damaged, then radioactive coolant may have spilled into some of the tunnels. You can't get your hands on a rad suit. The radiation protection gear is all down in engineering. Did nobody think ahead? This is like the ship of the damned. Next thing you know, you're going to tell me I can't go to the bridge until I teleport to Cleveland and back. This means you may need to navigate through the reactor spaces without a rad suit. This would be a dangerous exercise. There wouldn't be any way to tell just by looking which tunnels were contaminated.
Warning. A coolant leak in the power reactor has contaminated the reactor spaces. You are in a radiation hazard area. All personnel must wear proper protective gear and carry radiation monitoring equipment.
So I have neither, and I'm expected to just figure it out. Alright, so it's a honeycomb. Let's just go down. I mean, what's the worst that could happen?
Warning. A coolant leak in the power reactor has contaminated the reactor spaces. You are in a radiation hazard area. All personnel must wear proper protective gear and carry radiation monitoring equipment.
You feel dizzy and sick to your stomach. All of your exposed skin is turned bright red as if from a serious sunburn. This is not a promising development. No, radiation exposure. That's good. I guess we found a pocket of radiation. How far down does this thing go? Your symptoms are getting worse. You recognize the conditions as severe radiation poisoning. The symptoms from even fatal doses can be delayed by, say, several hours. So the immediate manifestation of the nausea, dizziness, and surface burns is an indication that you probably got a dose several hundred times higher than the minimum lethal dose. You must have been poisoned by traversing one of the vertical access tunnels in the reactor spaces that had been contaminated by coolant leaks. If only you had been able to tell which tunnels were contaminated.
Warning. A coolant leak in the power reactor has contaminated the reactor spaces. You are in a radiation hazard area. All personnel must wear proper protective gear and carry radiation monitoring equipment.
So there must have been radiation monitoring equipment somewhere, and God knows where I am right now. Not even 22nd century medical technology could save you from the massive hemorrhaging and cell damage incurred in radiation sickness of this severity. You collapse to the deck, writhing in pain. A few hours later, you go into a coma. This turns out to be blessed relief. You're dead. Okay, so going in there like that doesn't do me any good, because I just kind of die. Somebody has to have fucking scanners.
Weapons bays.
So we are now in the weapons base corridor, which spirals off into 3 arms. 3 arms to hold you, baby. 3 arms to hug you so tight. Ah, da 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 dee da dee la la dee da. You are on the catwalk that runs along the edge of the huge weapons bay. It leads from the corridor door to the blister of the control room. I don't know why I'm on the weapons deck. Well, actually, I do know why I'm on the weapons deck. I thought if any place had that sort of gear that wasn't, you know, one of the other decks. Since it's obviously not on the engineering deck. Well, I can't get to the engineering deck. This is the control room for Weapons Bay 3. The consoles here are used to program the onboard computers for the battle drones, load them off onto the rotary launcher, and then hand them off to the ship's tactical system for combat control. So I'm guessing there's no reason to be on this deck, and it must be one of the others. And I see the chat's out. Good to know. Good to know. I love not being able to talk to people. Well, I love not being able to talk to them and get any response back. That's the big thing. Oh, hi, computer. What's up?
Computer?
The main
Is there anything I should know about?
Contact with the main computer system was lost at 22:31:22. Local systems took over monitoring and control of autonomic functions at 22:31:23.
Has anything changed?
No change in status.
I've heard all this before.
That is not a commander query.
I'm done.
Access
Well, because the computers can't really talk to each other, they're on a very limited autonomous function set, so, you know. So it does actually fix one of Callahan's things, which is funny because Callahan's came later. Jeez, it breaks one of Callahan's things. Let's see about the bridge. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Deck 1.
We are now on the bridge, which is a very simple floor, which kind of makes sense because it's the bridge. I mean, where's it going to go? Here, Bridgie, Bridgie, Bridgie. The bridge sits at the top of the Lexington's habitat module and has a domed overhead with viewports that look out over the stars. The view outside is breathtaking. The bridge itself is striking in appearance, a circular room with the CO's chair in the center, surrounded by an array of consoles and screens. Why do I say army? I prefer army, really. I don't think I'm going to find what I'm looking for here either. That's the Navcom. External visual monitoring system. Wow, these are nice terminals, I must admit. Probably not of any use, though. So let's see what 2 does. Deck 2 Recreation. I think that's what it is in System Shock. I feel like I'm playing a very slow version of System Shock all of a sudden. Oh wait, that's where I was. Or was I? Or was I? Yeah, I was.
Deck 3.
Alright, so this one is this deck. And this would be... The mess hall is where meals are taken by the crew before and after going on watch. A self-serve food dispenser takes the place of the mess cooks of old. With a state-of-the-art VR system and the only communal space on the ship, the mess also serves as the social hub for the crew. So this is where you come and you hang out. Yeah, I know, that was a lot funnier in my head. The mess hall is equipped with a Sony Matsushita VR system for entertainment, training, and briefings. The strange sphere and the metal arm are all part of the VR processing system. The holograms that surround sound audio are generated here and projected via the panels along the ceiling. Really? Wow. How holodecky. Lexing orientation. Why we fight. Exit. Oh, I get to pick.
Welcome to the USS Lexington Orientation.
J.K. Simmons?
The United States Congress authorized the development of a new class of warships in 2109 as new Cold War tensions between alliance states and the United Nations escalated. These ships were designated as light cruisers Bunker Hill class and were designed to be fast, lightly armored, and heavily armed. The USS Lexington is one of 9 Bunker Hill light cruisers built between 2111 and 2127. During the first half of 2133, the Lexington was the first Bunker Hill-class ship to undergo an extensive modernization at the McHenry yards around Starhome. She was equipped with brand new weapon systems, an improved interplanetary drive, a new computer system, and an upgraded communication system. The Lexington is equipped...
Blah blah bluey, blibby blibby blah 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 blue blurb. I'm sure everybody really cared about that. No, don't quit. The model name of the VR unit appears to be Karakatron VR. Karakatron? What the fuck? No doubt a whimsical reference to one of the most obnoxious consumer electronic devices to sweep the world during the late 20th and early 21st centuries. Boy, they thought that was going to go away. How wrong they were. The U.S. Navy has given the food preparation unit a designation that gets those gastric juices flowing, the Mark IV Variable Acceleration No-Grav Automated Consumables Dispenser. This dispenser is capable of providing... Oh, hey, Pyromania's up. This dispenser is capable of providing hungry crew members with meals and drinks in conditions ranging from 0G to a bone-crushing 4 gravities. You press a random button and the machine spits out a meal that you can only describe as something on a shingle. You wolf the thing down in one bite and quickly regret it. The last thing your stomach needs right now is one of the culinary horrors that you've come to expect from the ACD. Somebody must have been eating when the Lexington went to general quarters. The remnants of a meal, including chopsticks, a plastic container of Kung Pao chicken, and 2 cups are sitting on the mess table. The food does not look appetizing at all. Congealed is a good word to describe the current state of the Kung Pao chicken. Let's eat it. You gingerly bite into a morsel of chicken and suddenly have an urge to add everything currently in your stomach to the pile on the table. So, no. That's a no. So, I don't see any reason to be in here. Alright, so more doors. More doors! More doors!
This stateroom
Okay, so I can't go into any of the staterooms because I don't have the override codes for anybody on this floor. So floor 3 is a bust. Ah, don't walk out. Get back in there, you fool. You foolish fool of fooliness. Deck 4.
Deck 4.
Deck 4, Deck 4, it's what you've been waiting for. It's full of rooms, they're really small, and there's probably not anything good in them. The crew quarters on Deck 4 are off limits since you don't have access to the proper VIS override codes. And this deck is absolutely fucking useless. And so of course, it makes me walk down one. So 4 is pants on head useless right now. Why, I can see it.
Computer?
Access.
Alright, computer's got nothing new. Deck 5.
Deck 5.
Willing to bet this is more crew quarters. No, it's actually not. I don't know what this is. Deck 5, staying alive. Deck 5, staying alive. Well, that's damage. There's a massive twisted wreckage obscuring the corridor in front of you. A violent release of energy has ripped apart the deck and the overhead, bending Erica alloy like spaghetti and snapping structural elements in the corridor like twigs. You contemplate the debris for a moment, asking yourself how the inside of the ship could get this mangled without a massive hull integrity failure. The shredded grating is razor sharp. You would do serious damage to yourself in an attempt to climb over. So, we're not getting through that. Got anything else? The release of energy shredded the yeah, I already did that one. Even though the metal grating is now twisted and deformed, it is still 10 times stronger than steel. You can't even bend it. So that kind of knocks that area out of terrain. So what's down here? Looks like medical. Oh, it is. The Med Lab is a complete state-of-the-art hospital in 2 rooms. Designed to handle a few patients at a time, the Med Lab has plenty of capacity for a 20-person crew. Combat injuries are actually very rare. The losers in a space battle are just usually vaporized. That's good to know! The auto dock is the centerpiece of the Med Lab. It consists of a spherical robotic treatment unit and a sophisticated non-invasive scanning system. With these 2 components and the computer's vast database, the auto dock can detect, diagnose, and deal with any injury or illness that could be treated by 22nd century medical science. Also, if you hack it, you can use it as a weapon against the tunnel snakes. Wait. The medical officer sits here during diagnosis and evaluation. He will actually stand near the auto dock during treatment, as much for the patient morale as for direct observation. The handheld remote control he uses for actual treatment is nowhere to be seen. You notice that a note is taped to the console. I wondered what that was. A note in Hideki's handwriting is taped to the console, stated yesterday. Captain Dano wanted the auto dock reprogrammed with what he called a panic button. I fixed it so that if you key in the code 911 on the auto dock remote control, the treatment unit will automatically stun anybody or anything within 3 meters of the auto dock. Does this have something to do with our mission? Sounds like you're going to be working with an ET specimen. What gives, Hideki? I can't take it. The note begins ripping as you pull it away from the console. Perhaps it would be better to have the note intact and in place rather than illegible and in your inventory. You peer into one of the microscopes. No slide is loaded, so the only thing you see is the texture of the metal underneath the scanning elements. This looks like a sensor of some kind. Perhaps it is what picks up the signals from the handheld remote that the medical officer uses for direct control of the auto dock. Perhaps. A small enclave with 2 bunks lies off the main med lab area. Recovering patients stay in this room so that the medical officer can keep an eye on them after treatment. There's nothing in the recovery room except for the 2 bunks. The auto dock is usually controlled by a handheld remote unit the medical officer can use as he monitors treatment while standing near the patient. So nothing to be done here. Maybe he's got the radiation sensors. Or have. The science lab is the working environment for the ship's designated science officer. Oddly enough, this area has kind of a retro look to it as a result of the Navy's benign neglect over time. The science lab is the only area on the ship that hasn't been upgraded or overhauled since the Lexington was commissioned. This equipment was outmoded when it was installed in 2114. Now it seems positively ancient. These are highly specialized devices. You don't even have the training required to turn them on. You're not even certified to wipe your own ass! Ooh, what's this? Narang explained the function of this device during one of the slow days on the trip out. The microscanner is essentially a field microscope. If activated while being held near an object, the microscanner uses reflection from an emitted beam to construct a highly magnified false color image of the surface of the object being scanned. Okay, well that's neat. I'll take one of those. Hey, it's a Geiger counter! This is a simple Geiger counter used to measure alpha, beta, and gamma radiation. When activated, the counter will give visual and audio feedback about ambient radiation levels. Well, there's our scanner. A series of large flat panel screens are mounted on the walls. They are currently displaying a pattern of light and dark bars that might be the results of spectral analysis. And again, they might be an indication that the equipment needs servicing. You have no way of knowing. The gravitometer is a heavy cylinder made from a crystalline material with a perfectly aligned atomic matrix. The gravitometer is designed to pick up even the faintest of gravitational distortions and provides valuable information about the composition, density, and arrangement of astronomical bodies ranging from asteroids to stars. Also, is an excuse to make you say gravita a lot. You don't know the first thing about the gravitometer. Well, it looks like the whole purpose of being in here was to get the Geiger counter and the scanner so that I can go down to radiation, or down to engineering and not die doing it this time. Which is really good. Irma Gerd, I'm not gonna die. Sorry, I've had Irma Gerd stuck in my head all day. Oh, those mimetics. Or memes, anyway. Okay, we are going to reactor spaces. Beep boop boop, ba-doop boop boop, ba-doop doop doo 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 doop doop.
Reactor spaces.
You turn on the Geiger counter. You glance at the Geiger counter's small display screen. It is clear. There is no significant radiation here.
Warning. A coolant leak in the power reactor has contaminated the reactor spaces. You are in a radiation hazard area. All personnel must wear proper protective gear and carry radiation monitoring equipment.
You look at the little display screen on the counter. The counter is registering enough radiation to indicate contamination in the access tunnel below you. So we probably shouldn't use that one. Let's go to this one. Both of the tunnels leading out of here must be clear.
A coolant leak in the power reactor has contaminated the reactor spaces. You are in a radiation hazard area. All personnel must wear proper protective gear and carry radiation monitoring equipment.
Alright, let's go down. One of the tunnels above you or below you is contaminated. Well, we know it's not the one above us because we just came down through it, so... Okay, D is super contaminated. Can't use it. We know B is not contaminated above. Let's see if B is contaminated below or if B is all clear.
Warning. A coolant leak in the
So
power
A has to be
reactor
the safe
has
route.
contaminated the reactor spaces. You are in a radiation hazard area. All personnel must wear proper protective gear and carry radiation monitoring equipment.
A appears to be clear in both directions, so let's go down again. Since the above was clear, we know we can't go down here, so let's go over here. Cycle our way around. D is hysterically contaminated again. C is contaminated in both directions. B is safe in both directions.
Warning. A coolant leak in the power reactor has contaminated the reactor spaces. You are in a radiation hazard area. All personnel must wear proper protective gear and carry radiation monitoring equipment.
Okay, I just want to get out of here because we're on level 5 now, so... Wait, didn't it say B is clear in both directions? I should be able to go down again. Except you can't go down from B. Can you only go down from A? Yeah, it looks that way. Well, so here's to hoping A is clear above me and below me, because that's where we're going. Alright, we are clear. Well, we're as clear as we're going to get. I have this stinking suspicion this is not going to be a pleasant door to open. This is the primary operations and maintenance area for the ship's fusion pulse drive engines and power reactor. The main workstation for engineering personnel is the engineering maintenance area, a cluster of consoles that sits inside an alloy framework. Let's see if we can't get this shit shut down so that we're safe again. You find the proper controls and bring up the touchscreen schematic for the reactor coolant system. The primary coolant tank is damaged. All of the coolant liquid has leaked out of the system. This means you need to route coolant liquid from one of the auxiliary coolant tanks through the reactor in order to cool it down. The reactor coolant system computer interface will allow you to scroll and manipulate a map showing the reactor and the ACS tanks, pipes and valves. There are two auxiliary coolant tanks. Both are full. Your first objective is to open the manual valve on one of those tanks so that the coolant can flow into the systems of the ACS pipes and valves. The computer interface on this console will help you determine which valve you need to open manually. Use the arrows on the top right and bottom right of the schematic to scroll up and down. You can't use the computer interface to route the coolant through the reactor until at least one manual valve has been opened. Manual valve 1. Okay, so puzzle time, if you will. That's the main coolant tank, which has been damaged badly. So valve 1 is useless. We have valves 3 and valve 2 at the manuals. They need to get to the engine coolant grid. I can do that like that. That ain't no thing but chicken wing. Except that one of them I think actually needs to get to here, too, to the main reactor core. So let's worry about the reactor core first. Okay, I think that sets us up all right. Okay. So we need to open up 2. That's the exact same thing as it was. So go back out. Turn around. Go up the ladder. Open up the equipment storage cabinet. Take out the cutting torch. You take the cutting torch from the cabinet and close the empty storage cabinet. This should be very useful indeed, yes? Cutting tools are always immensely useful. You are standing on the catwalk outside the access crawlways. You have reached the end of the access crawlway. When you face the bulkhead at the end of the crawlway, you see a manual valve control sitting directly in front of you. The exit to the catwalk lies in the other direction, the one you came from. You turn the wheel to open the manual valve. You hear a grinding noise and then a solid-sounding clunk from above as the valve locks into the open position. I am mostly at this point concerned about actually cooling the reactor rather than anything else. Okay, why are you not working? Oh, because it's jumping. Okay, that would be why there was a problem there. I was kind of wondering what the hell was going on there. There's a whole section in the middle. Electrolytic power generator. Cool the engine. Yeah, that's not gonna work. Probably needed to go through a heat exchanger. It's not going to work very well. Should have thought of that, actually. That makes sense and stuff. Boy, I wish I could get rid of this klaxon. Except that's a downward pump. See, that doesn't seem to go anywhere. And again, that's a downward pump. Hey, the reactor core temperature is coming down. All of the indicators are moving back towards the green. The reactor core temperature has returned to its subcritical levels and is now well within normal parameters. You successfully averted a core meltdown and saved the ship. Woo-hoo! I feel pretty good. These must be the housings for the equipment that controls the actuators and pumps for the reactor coolant system. You can control this equipment by accessing the consoles inside the engineering maintenance station, which I did. Crisis averted. Situation not quite as critical as it was a few minutes ago.
Computer? Has anything...
The criticality 1 fault in the primary reactor coolant system has been repaired. Reactor temperatures are returning to normal.
Good.
I'm done.
Now I have to remember what where the other thing she wanted me to deal with was. I know she wanted me to deal with the computers. Well, and since the criticality event is gone, the elevator should work again. So maybe deck 6, the only deck I haven't been on. What a bizarre map. Huh. You are facing the controls for the shuttle bay doors and the outer door from the control room. Oh, well. This is the control room and airlock for the shuttle bay. A blister of quartzite looks out over the enormous hangar outside. So I don't have any real reason to do any of that. Matter of fact, if I do stupid things like, let's say, depressurize the shuttle bay and depressurize the control room, you slowly die from a lack of oxygen. I love how games that let you commit brain-dead suicide. It's like, oh, I'll just decompress the room. Let's open the door. Now let's open my door. You get sucked out into the vacuum of space. Ah, I was wearing a spacesuit. How useful. Air would be nice, though. Wow, I feel like a Ken doll. Do I have any genitalia? I don't know. Alright, I'm going to try one more time. I still can't see anybody in the chat. I know there's people in there. I know you're there. I can hear you breathing. But I cannot get in. So, I'm working on that right now. Open the suit locker. Let's take the suit. And the helmet, because they're both really useful. Now, other than that, not a lot of value to this particular room. cavernous cargo bay is where heavy equipment spares, bulk stores, and consumables are stored. Everything except for electronic components, which are stored on Deck 2. There are thousands of items here, and containers stacked high above you. When you look down again, an object on the deck just in front of you catches your attention. This one, I would say. You take the multi-tool. Multipass! Multipass! This is a Drexel multi-tool, a kind of Swiss Army knife for engineers. Its more useful attachments include a Dahlgren wrench, a thermal knife for cutting thermal plastic, and a screwdriver. It also includes a Devere optometer, a micrometer, and several exotic tools that you can't even begin to identify. So there's stuff here, but God knows what any of it is, so... And that would be what that Gigantico area is. It's the cargo bay. Alright, well, my only question now is where the hell the computer is that I'm supposed to try and fix. Because I'm supposed to get central computing back online, but I don't know where central computing is. Oh, right. Press the call button, get in the elevator, push, I don't know, 5? 5 was medical, wasn't it? That's where I found the rad suit, the Geiger counter.
Deck 5.
I'm also going to turn off the Geiger counter, just in case it's got like a battery or something. Yeah, Deck 5 is where I found the Geiger counter. So, this is not... Oh, come on. Hate that. A little too easy to do. A little too easy to suddenly walk down the wrong corridor. Oh, hey, I'm seeing chat feed. Good. Hello, G Willikers. Welcome back. Welcome back. Good to see you again. It's always good to see everybody. Everybody should be seen. That is the word of the day right now. Well, it's several words, but you know.
Deck 4.
Whatever. Yeah, they're having trouble again, I think. I'm going to check real fast on their Twitter feed. Wow. Okay. Tom Clancy's Ghost Recon, Spelunky... Yes, Spelunky is finally coming out. Yay! Flail your arms! You're gonna have to give me a second, just going through things. All sorts of things that are thinking. Also, day 2 of the Pyro update for, or the Pyromania update for, Are you kidding me? Seriously? Really? Go Valve. Sorry, I'm a Team Fortress 2 player at heart, so I'm checking in on things. They're updating the sniper in Team Fortress 2 to look like Leon from The Professional. That's epic. Buttloads of awesome sauce and slaw and cola.
Deck 3.
You have this feeling that all these other people who are actually actively watching are just going, well, I can't get through, so I'm just going to sit here. Well, that was useless. What else is on this floor? Staterooms I can't get into. Good to know. Yeah,
Deck
it's
2.
being weird. It's a good thing I don't rely on it very much. Mostly just let people listen to the scintillating tones of my voice. Ah! How about we don't do that?
Computer? Any change in status?
No change. No change.
I'm done.
Access.
Well, that wasn't helpful. So I don't know where the computer restart is. Is it on the bridge? And is it deck 1? Hey, Pat. How's Tricks in Trixieland? You cat thing, you. The Pat Cat. As opposed to the Pat Butt, I guess. I don't know. Talking cats, what the fuck? What will nature think of next? Probably something that will scare the shit out of me, that's for damn sure. To the bridge! I'm saying, hey, yo, hey, Pat Cat,
Deck
yo.
1.
I don't know anything about that song other than, like, they made a meme out of it. You sit down in the chair. You had always dreamed of getting your own command, but this is not the way it was supposed to happen. After a brief moment, you get back up. You go to select a different microcam view of the outside of the ship, but you have no idea how the system works.
Hype Telecon System Initialization Checklist Revision 3.1.
Oh God!
This automated checklist has been prepared in order to simplify the activation and use of the experimental TX-15 Teradyne Hype Telepresence Control System components. These include the TX-15 RC-09 Client Battle Direction Software for the Basilisk Strike Craft, the TX-15 Block 2 Cyber System Software Upgrade for the main computer, the Telecom Man-Machine Interface, and the Hype Mutagenic Serum.
Some, yeah, some. Not all. Legend did that. We had the same thing going on in Callahan's where I had to read half of it.
Please stand by while the TX-15 Block 2 software upgrade runs a self-diagnostic to ensure proper operation.
The narrator is never voiced.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Hype Telecon Checklist Step 1. Manually reprogram all RC-09 battle drones to be used with the Hype Telecon system. Use the arming console in each of the weapons bays to activate drones in storage, program their onboard computers for telecon operation, load them on the launcher, and hand them off to the main computer. The Hype Telecon program is coded
as 180 in the Armor Servo Mech data store.
Step 1 has not been completed. No drones are available for telecon operation. Hype Telecon system initialization terminated.
That's fine. That's not really what I wanted to do, so... Your cross-trading exercises with members of the Lexington's crew were valuable and expanded your technical horizons immeasurably. Even so, you have never come to understand the finer points of secure C3 battlefield communication systems, or even the major points for that matter. Idiot switches? Referred to as the idiot switches, the rocker switches on this panel will turn all ship functions over to the computer systems unless manual overrides are engaged. Well, it looks like the idiot switches were flipped before the Lexington was abandoned. You don't really want manual control of all ship systems back, do you? Well, trust me, you don't. You are 8 arms and 4 brains short of the minimum component needed to run the ship in even semi-autonomous mode. Let the machines do their jobs. So in essence, it's a TARDIS. And I'm trying to fly it by myself. And I'm not from Gallifrey. Second Gallifrey reference of the day!
Computer?
The main computer is down.
Is there...
Contact with the main
I've heard...
That is not...
I'm done.
Access...
So I still don't have access to the main computer. I still can't figure out how to get access to the main computer. I don't know where the main fucking computer is. Don't touch. Don't mess with it if you don't even know what it is. So more of that. So I guess it's not the bridge. Well, if not the bridge, then I don't know where. I don't know where the damn computer is. You'd think it'd be a big gar-ram thingy-magummer with the foopin' hoopin' dabba dabba, but it doesn't seem to be. Oh, God damn it, get back in that elevator. Get back in there! You stupid son of a bitch, get back in that elevator right now! And stuff. Okay, well, we're going back to engineering. Yeah, that's where I'm headed, but that's where the reactor was that I just dealt with. So I figured, you know, what's the point in going all the way back down there?
Engineering.
And there's the ladder that I don't need to take anymore. See, because engineering's got exactly one big room that leads to the reactor. That's it. The alloy framework, yeah, thanks. The engineering consoles don't deal with the computer. They deal with the coolant pumps. That's it. Which is why I was actually going to go back up to deck 2 and try and re-listen to a message. Unfortunately, it's an FMV, so, you know, we're going to have to sit through it all over again. Every word of it.
Deck 2.
Look at the corridor. Corridor. It's like a Pokemon. Corridormon! Okay, use them. Thank you.
I'm sure you're wondering what's going on. I'll explain. You are probably aware that the Lexington was attacked by a UN ship.
Yes.
We were outgunned and on the verge of being destroyed when Captain Dana notified the UN captain of our desire to surrender.
Yes, yes.
Garrick agreed to take the crew of the Lexington and Jericho aboard before destroying both ships.
Good on him.
As I record this message, Garrick is waiting for us to transfer over to his ship on the Lexington shuttle.
That sucks.
You are the only one left behind.
Good for me.
If we're lucky, the UN bastard will ignore one crewman left on board the Lexington.
He did. Sort of.
We intend to detonate a thermonuclear device after our shuttle has been taken aboard the UN vessel.
This is a case of
This
bad
will
idea.
completely destroy their ship.
That's good.
It will also kill everyone on board both shuttles.
That's bad.
This should leave you free to complete our mission.
That's good.
There is nothing more important than this mission, including the lives of the crew.
I would argue
We died so that you can finish what we started.
No pressure there.
Our ship was badly hurt during the UN attack. The first thing you must do is deal with the worst of the battle damage. There are problems which directly threaten the near-term survival of the ship. Now, first of all, the primary power reactor is headed for a meltdown because the coolant system has failed.
I already fixed that.
The molten core will eat through the containment vessel of the reactor and set off the fuel for the fusion engines. The resulting explosion will completely destroy the Lexington and the nearby Jericho. You need to get to engineering and stop the runaway chain reaction.
We did that.
The meltdown is the top priority.
Well, it
When
was.
you deal with that problem, then you must get the central computer back in operation. Without that, you cannot complete the mission. Currently, all computer processing has been delegated to the smaller, decentralized computers that exist on each deck of the ship.
Mm-hmm.
They do not communicate with each other except on a very primitive level. Enough to keep what you might think of as subconscious ship functions going. There is no overall guiding intelligence in these autonomous systems.
Okay.
The ship's central computer is made up of Turing cores and is home to the complex software that gives the ship's computer its smarts.
Okay.
The higher functions of the ship's brain reside in the central computer cores.
Yes.
These cores are currently inoperative.
Right.
The primary cores were destroyed and the secondary cores failed to activate the way they were supposed to.
Got that.
You must get the central computer back online.
I know.
I've recorded one more message. You'll hear from me again when you get the central computer back in operation. I have key-coded the message so that the higher functions of the main computer will pick it up and display it for you as soon as the central cores are once again operational. Good luck. Be careful.
Sweetness.
Tran out.
Honey. Child. Tran. Could you hang around and tell me where they are? I get a big ol' honkin' ship here, Sweetness. Where are these things you were telling me I gotta fix? Y'all might want to give, you know, brother a hand here. Could I at least get a reach around while you're butt fucking me with the fix the computers? Nonsensical. I'm sure I just lost 20 people by doing that. He's kind of crass, isn't he? Yes, I am. Thank you. Thank you for noticing. I swear. You know, I have the sneaking suspicion I actually know where they are, and it's gonna piss me off if that's the case. Oh shit! The answer just occurred to me. My brain just engaged. Have you ever had a eureka moment like that where you're just like, all of a sudden the gears click, and everything makes sense? I have a cutting torch. I can clear this wreckage. You crank up the cutting torch and attack the forest of mangled decorating. After several minutes of very hard work, you manage to clear a narrow path through the wreckage. And I'm willing to bet I now have access to the engineering, or to the computer course through here. It looks that way.
I've put the combo on this door because I was afraid one of you might come in and mess with the main computer. Please see me if you think you need to get in here. できるものならやってみろ.
I will punch you in the soul.
Access denied.
I will destroy your existence with my goddamned mind. I will tear you out of time and space. I don't even know who the fuck you were. I don't know why I said on fuck for so long, but I did, and that's all that matters. Who in the blessed name of poop steaks was that? What was he talking about? Gargle, blunting, dickin' talking, fucking stick cheese balls. Ah.
I've put the combo on this door because I was afraid one of you might come in and mess with the main computer. Please see me if you think you need to get in here. できるものならやってみろ.
Access denied.
What the fuck? Oh my head. Yeah, the elevator goes to engineering, but the only thing in engineering is the reactor controls, and I don't need the reactor controls right now. I need into main computing. It's the door to the computer systems. Because I thought about that. I'm like, you know, well, maybe. So who on this ship was a freaking science officer Narang? But Taiwan Narang, that was Japanese. It's not Jennifer Tran, it's not Dana Dahlpool, Oliver Falcon, Madden. Cyber Systems Operator, Warrant Officer Hideki Miura. Nuclear Tech Kwan, Moroni, Randall Castle, Gahardal, Slocum, Sushido. I don't think it's Sushido. It's probably Hideki Miura. Where in the hell would I meet him? He's dead. Well, I'm assuming he's dead. He didn't have quarters up on that deck. Which means he had quarters... Either he was in science or medical, but he's not in medical. You strain against the cabinets, trying to force them open, but to no avail. That's a shame. You can just hear the medical supplies, bandages, syringes, splints, and all sorts of good adventure game stuff calling out to you. And you can't has. See, that's the 911 on the meta dock, or on the auto dock remote, which doesn't help me at all. No, not where I wanted to be. Sorry, I gotta do something real fast. I gotta look for something. You're gonna have to pardon me for a second while I work this shit on out. Could you go, please? So that is Mira. I was checking something somewhere. This equipment was 2114, huh? That's the only 4-digit number I've seen so far. Can't hurt.
I'll put...
Access denied.
Just because I always think this number.
Access.
No, I didn't think so. No, I'm not playing guess the 4-digit numbers. That's your override. That doesn't help me any. So how is everybody doing today while I puzzle about things and try to get my brain to actually engage? That's what I thought. We all having a good day, all of us together. He's about to make a really monumental, beautiful speech, and it's like, nah, you know what? You're just gonna slip over to the long tongue.
Deck 3.
Good. I like when people are happy, you know? It's a brutal world sometimes. And a little bit of happiness now and again goes a long, long way.
This stateroom is...
Okay, so I have more codes. Awesome. I didn't know I had more codes.
Access denied.
Alright, so... when did I get
This
more
statement-
codes?
Access.
Oh, we'll know in a second. This is Mary Kwan's quarters, one of the cramped rooms set aside for non-commissioned officers and enlisted personnel. You see what looks like a bound volume of some kind on Mary Kwan's desk. Quiet days are good days. You know, I like excitement now and again. I've had a little bit of excitement. And I'm gonna be content for a while. Just to relax. You pick up the flower and vow that you will take care of it for the rest of its natural life, assuming responsibility from its previous owner. Too much trouble. What were you thinking, anyway? I don't know. The star flower has a faint, tangy odor that is not unpleasant. Not computer terminal. The journal. You'll have to take her journal first. Ooh, I'm gonna steal a dead woman's journal. I feel all sticky and dirty. Journal, Mission 161, Departure February 22, 2134. I am keeping this journal on paper because anything entered into my terminal is accessible to the main computer. I know that the stuff in my personal files is supposed to be protected by the privacy laws, but Hideki told me that there are overrides in emergencies. Oh, well, and then I exited. Apparently she's Cartman. March 18. The XO called a nuclear plant casualty drill during the first day watch, which also happened to be my sleep shift. My damage control team didn't fare well during the drill, but I think the goddamn XO set us up. She simulated a computer failure at the same time as the MPC. It took us almost 9 minutes to isolate and contain the failure and set communication yoke for the contaminated areas. The XO wasn't happy and reamed our team, but good, especially me. March 19th. The Lexington made an FTL jump today. 21. I was at engineering with Oliver when Poole, our new ops officer, came in and started grilling Oliver about the upgrades made to the Lexington during overhaul at the McHenry yards. Poole seemed strangely intent on the information. It was like he was asking me for the questions from a mental list or something. I assumed he was just trying to get up to speed on the new assignment, but it was hinky. March 23. The rumor mill spawned another WAPA today. Everyone has to have a theory about what this mission is all about. I heard this one from Gajardo. She says that Shindo overheard the CO talking to the XO about a discovery of a new Earth-type world, a new home for the Alliance. We're supposedly on our way to secure it. Yeah, right. Nirang, our resident conehead, gave me the odds on finding a real Earth-type world anytime soon. Something like 10 million to 1. I don't believe it for a second. The XO ordered another nuke emergency drill today, this time for a mock nuclear weapons test. We did okay. The XO didn't say anything good, but then she never does. The key is that she didn't say anything bad. Everything would have been cool except that McCleary was assigned to the decontamination station for damage control and had his heads all over me during the decon segment of the drill. Gropey, gropey! 28th. I'm not going to read all this. We're trying to guess where we were on the Institute main computer efforts. It knows the ship's location is classified. Narang knew it would. That's a lot of G's. So Poole's quirky as shit. So they had a shootout. Poole is apparently psychic. The VR system is broken. Or Aguilar fixed it. So Poole is looking for something. That's wild. Alright, well that was useful, I think. So nothing in there. Looks like all she had was that book of paranoia. Alright. Let's see what else we can get open.
This access. This access.
So we got in here. This was Hideki Miura's quarters. Hideki was the ship's cyber systems operator and was an old-school hacker who admired the culture from the quaint cyberpunk era of the early 2020s. A folded printout sits on the desk next to the computer. A gold necklace is draped on one corner of the computer monitor. Time to steal all the shit. Nothing but clean uniforms, nothing but stuff he's supposed to have. You see a necklace dangling from the corner of the flat screen display. Yes, well, let's take it. You take the necklace from the flat screen display. You put the necklace on over your head. Okay, so now I'm wearing it. This appears to be a necklace with a gold pendant. Intriguing. What's the source code say? You take the program listing. That's a lot of code. My word. You recognize a few words and characters from the archaic character-based programming language C squared. The program is supposed to use the local sub-Turing processor, the terminal, to calculate an irrational number to what seems like an impossible number of digits. That's pleasant, okay.
Welcome to Hideki's House of Hacking Fun.
Hideki's House of Hacking Fun? Really? 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 You touch the keyboard and a prompt appears on the screen. No program in workspace. Specify file to load or enter program source code. It seems that you have kicked off Hideki's C-squared programming environment. Program. The terminal with the source code. You type in the lines of code from the source code listing. When you are finished, you give the computer a verbal command to execute the program. The end result is a string of digits that begins with 3.14. Not going to read all those numbers. Well, actually, I kind of want to. 3.1415926535897932838846 4626433832795028841971 and then runs off the screen. So which four numbers would it have been? A magnetized paperweight. Let's take it. The paperweight only rises a few centimeters from the surface of the desk, just enough to slip a paper underneath it. Talk about magnetized. Yeah, I kind of noticed that. This looks like a holoprint of one of the planets in this Epsilon Indi system. This is a holoprint of Starhome, the first world to be colonized by the human race. Although the average surface temperature is under minus 30 degrees Celsius and the atmosphere is 100 years from being terraformed to the point where it is even breathable, Starhome is the closest thing to an Earth-type planet in known space. Alright, just clean uniforms. Well, that was useful. I didn't even notice that. I was wondering what the hell that symbol was. Man's got kind of an obsession with pie. I mean, I like pie too. I can't deny that I like pie. I'm the kind of guy who enjoys a pie now and then. Most of the ship's staff officers were housed on Deck 2, known inside the ship as Officer Country, but the more junior officers wound up bunked on Deck 3 with the NCOs and enlisted personnel. For some reason, the proximity of a person's quarters to the bridge corresponds with rank. Tisk tisk. Lieutenant Falcon has a highly classified codebook, USN Com Codes A213431, sitting amidst a collection of other, less sensitive volumes. You thumb through the codebook. One page is clipped. This page is covered with cryptographic equations. The only recognizable element is the title at the top of the page, Jasmine Com Code Protocols. Falcon has made a penciled note in the margins. TCS hard-coded for Jasmine, no other com code authorized for M161. I suppose that's going to be useful. Do. Let's steal all her stuff from her place. Wait, what's this? It's a thing. You find a small note taped to the inside of the desk drawer. You peel the note off the bottom of the drawer and take it with you. What's it say, boss? If you need to get into my stateroom to get at any of the things and I'm not around, please feel free to use my override. Can't read it. Don't let anyone see you going in. The rules on fraternization may be loosely enforced, but getting caught won't help your promotion prospects. See you soon, I. The VIS override code identified in the note from J to Lieutenant Falcon was 1H31. The Nexus code like that, J, whoever he was, must have been quartered on decks 2 or 3. Sounds like Poole, who was on deck 3, too. There's a little bit of a conspiracy undertone here, isn't there? Conspiracy, it's fun for everybody, because everybody gets screwed the same. Let's go up to deck 2 and... I have never had peanut butter cream pie, but now that you've said peanut butter cream pie, I really want peanut butter cream pie.
This state access.
Alright, so it is Poole's room. This was Lieutenant James Poole's stateroom. Nothing but clean uniforms. Interesting. Ship model. A scale model of the USS Orlando sits on a shelf above Poole's desk. The Orlando is a Jericho-class science vessel. Okay, cool. I'll just yoink that. You take the model from its spot above the desk. As you lift it, you notice that it is strangely heavy even in the low gravity of the Lexington's powered orbit. Oh ho 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 ho! I think I'm gonna break you open now. Break you open, break you open, break you open. The thermal knife cuts through the tough plastic, and soon you have reduced the scale model of the Orlando to a collection of brittle shards. Inside the model you find a metal key, an envelope, a small black egg-shaped transmitter, and a device you can't identify. My word, what have I discovered? This appears to be a key of some sort. It has a flat handle and ends in a hollow cylinder.
Scramble Blue, attention sword. Code name Damocles. Authentication Echo 2 Alpha 3 5. Transmitting at 22.59er with a periodic low-power NGCS burst. This is James Poole on the USS Lexington. Message follows. Per the last transmission from Dharma, I armed the bomb this morning before the officer's briefing, when I had the room to myself. If you intend to board the Lexington, you will need to disarm the bomb immediately upon arrival. The timer has been set according to instructions. Poole out. Message repeats.
So there's a bomb on the ship. You open the envelope and find a letter inside. To UN Commander UNS Dharma from James Poole, Damocles. Your plan was to disable and then board the Lexington. There was always a high risk to me in that plan. If a firefight broke out inside the Lexington, I might be easily killed. If I do not survive the battle for Deneb Kaito 6, please make sure that the attached letter makes its way to my brother David. David is currently living in a foster care facility in Boulder, Colorado, inside the United States. I know you can reach him. After all, you got to me with no problem at all. Dear David, if you are reading this, I am dead. It is unlikely that the U.S. Navy told you the real story behind my death. I'm sure they sent you one of their standard, very sorry to inform you, killed in action hollows. It would be easy to leave it at that, but I thought it was important for you to know the truth. The U.S. Navy would never admit that I actually helped the United Nations win a critical battle in space, one that may well decide the outcome of the war in the favor of the UN. You are probably shocked by this. Why would I betray my country? Why would I go against the principles of the Alliance? How could I violate the solemn oath of honor and obedience that I swore when I joined the Navy? The answer is that I choose to betray my country in order to avoid betraying the entire human race. You know that Mom and Dad were killed in a lab accident when you were 3 years old and I was 12. What you don't know is that we were both there when it happened. I never really told you about that day. It's time you knew what really transpired in the ERT lab, especially since the events there served as the catalyst that led to my eventual decision to help the UN. I was playing with you in the daycare center about 50 meters away from where Mom and Dad were working. I remember the alarm went off, and all of the adults in the center rushed over to one of the flat-screen monitors on the wall. I went over to look at the cause of the commotion. A red light over the screen indicated that the signal was being piped across the complex from one of the internal labs. On the screen, I saw Mom standing over a broken hazmat containment vessel, looking up at the holocamera mounted inside the lab's quarantine area. She knew what was coming, and she looked scared. Dad was backed up against the lab door. He was saying something over and over again, but the audio pickups weren't on, and I couldn't read his lips. Mom had accidentally dropped a container filled with the results of their latest experiments, a batch of self-replicating micromachines designed to break down hazardous biological waste. The micromachines were tiny, almost submicroscopic in size. As the hazmat container broke on impact, the micromachines went into the air and into Mother and Father's lungs. When the micromachines encountered living lung tissue, they started to replicate and perform their assigned task, disassembly of biological material, one molecule at a time. I could only watch as the horror began. The adults watching with me were oblivious to my presence and didn't think to shield me from the images on the screen. First, Mom went down, clutching at her lungs, coughing up pink froth as her lungs were eaten from the inside. I remember the floor at the front of her lab coat being covered with a fine red speckled pattern. A few seconds later, Dad died clawing at the computer-locked door, blood rushing out of his nose and mouth. The micromachines multiplied as they worked. Within a couple of minutes after Mom and Dad died, their bodies began to liquefy as the process of molecular disassembly accelerated. Finally, the chrononecrosis algorithms in the micromachines kicked in and they all self-terminated. Not much was left except for pools of reddish jelly. And so the elite ERT husband and wife research team died together. Mom and Dad had the best of intentions, and yet they created a monster that killed them. The monster also left 2 children behind, lost, confused, and without parents. When I think of Mom and Dad and the thousands who died in the Alaska traffic control disaster, the millions who have been killed by the fruits of technology in war, and the hundreds of millions who have perished of cancer, poisoning, radiation, genetic damage, chronic environmental distress syndrome, and other maladies of the technological age, I know that the madness must stop. Human beings were never meant to exist in the artificial environments we've created for ourselves. We were never meant to wield the terrible power that comes from technology, from nuclear fusion to nanotechnology. Over the long term, we cannot control the forces that we have unleashed. We will destroy ourselves. I have known since I was 16 that the Alliance is bent on a course of self-annihilation. It will take down the rest of humanity when they go. The UN is the only hope for the future. That is why I agreed to work for the UN when I was still a struggling cadet at the Academy. The UN espionage network helped me to excel at my studies and then get on a career fast track that took me into the most sensitive areas of Alliance intelligence planning. The culmination of my service as a UN agent is an operation that will change the course of the war. I informed the UN High Command about the details of Mission 161, a highly classified Alliance expedition to scout a potential alien presence on a world 68 light-years from Earth. I helped the UN plan an ambush for the ships in the expedition. I have arranged for my assignment to the expedition in spite of my lack of training and experience as a combat officer. If everything went according to plan, the UN disabled and then boarded my ship and the science ship we were escorting. The UN now has control of what might be the most important discovery in human history. As insurance, the UN had me plant a bomb on board my ship, set to detonate within a few hours of the arrival in the Deneb Kaitos system, unless disarmed by the UN boarding party. The letter was left with the key needed to get at the bomb. Because you are reading this instead of hearing the news from me, I was most likely killed during the battle. But you always thought that I was blinded by simple ambition. Now you know I served a higher principle after all. I've had a few. They're actually really good. Yeah, I'm kind of hungry too. I haven't really eaten a lot today. I already put through that. Alright, well I know where the bomb is. I know exactly where the bomb is. Now disarming it, that may be a completely different task. But I know where it is. And we're going to take the model, and we are going to disassemble the model. The thermal knife cuts through the tough plastic, and soon you've reduced the scale model of the Lexington to a collection of brittle shards. Inside the model you discover something made of metal, a cold steel cylinder a few centimeters long. Good afternoon, Logbia, or Lobija, or Lojbaya, or however one pronounces your name. Read. The tiny letters on the inside of the cylinder spell out UN392A/51/600AM2 yield 0.1 kiloton. Excuse me. The AM code is recognizable from briefings on United Nations weapons classifications. This is a UN Class 2 antimatter bomb with an explosive power of 100 tons of TNT. This is mission critical. This is the same people who brought you Callahan's Crosstime Saloon. You unscrew one end of the cylinder. A tiny display panel and some controls become visible. Well, apparently I disarmed it. Is that really all that's it? Wow. I now have a disarmed explosive. Yay! So the only thing we found in Mayura's office was the program that generates pi. Pi. Disarm arm, disarm.
Deck 5.
I'll put the combo on this door, because...
Yes. Well, I'm assuming... .14159. Well, I'm assuming it's not.
Access denied.
Well, that's not what I wanted to hit anyway, so that was... Yes. You put the code on the door. 3.14.
Access granted.
That's it. It was pi. Gee, tell me, did you make that one easier? Half-Life 2 is fun. I like Half-Life 2. Someday I need to rebeat it, because I beat it before it actually had achievements. Beat it before it's on Steam. This is the heart of the Lexington's main computer system. You are surrounded by banks of Turing cores, powerful processors that use light and quantum effects to manipulate and store information. Each bank of Turing cores has more processing power than all of the computers on Earth in the year 2000. So it's a quantum network, which we don't have, so. The Turing cores are blocks of transparent crystal that glow with blue and violet light, which would be quantum holographic crystal processors, which we're working on. Access from the door to the console is provided by movable floor panels suspended between structural beams. So I could ostensibly move them, I guess. I don't know why I'd want to. The main computer is well and truly locked up, hung, frozen, crashed down, wedged, toast, gronked, hammered, fried, forked, and out to lunch. Hideki often said that if you have no idea what caused a catastrophic failure in a sophisticated, highly complex, mission-critical computer system, the best thing to do is turn it off and then on again and see if the problem goes away. This appears to be an access panel. Well, let's open the access panel. You slide open the access panel. Underneath you see a cluster of lights and switches. There are clusters of cryptic controls and indicators on the left side of the screen. There appears to be a slot or port of some kind. You flip the switch. A few lights blink on and off. This is one of 5 switches set into the area that used to be covered by the access panel. Okay. Oh, it's a post-it. There we go. This is a yellow switch stuck to the panel above the last rocker switch. Okay, what's it say? This button is for system-wide cold boot. Serious shit. Don't touch this without the CO's permission. Well, I am the CO, so... You flip the last switch in the row of 5. This is indeed the system reset switch and causes the main computer system to cold boot. The system reinitializes, automatically switching to its secondary cores when its primary cores don't respond. The only evidence you see of what must be furious activity is a slight change in the glow of the Turing cores. When the system is finally back online, the screen in front of you fades to black. After a few seconds, Tran's familiar face fills the screen and her final log entry begins to play.
Congratulations. You got the central computer system back online. Now you must figure out a way to get the communication systems back in working order. The tachyon beam transmitter is a large parabolic dish on the outside of the hull. The control systems for that dish have been rendered inoperative. You must figure out how to get the targeting and control mechanism for the dish working again. Once the system is up, override the looping distress call by entering the following code. MELISSA, Melissa. Then ask the central computer to run the IPS program and use it to align the dish on the tachyon relay beacon sitting near the jump point in this star system. You will have to establish a relay connection through a web of jump points to reach any bases or ships. You will need to talk to the Alliance base on Erebus. They will explain the Lexington's mission and can help you finish that mission in real time. I've done everything I can. Good luck. Tran out.
Yes?
Are you now tied into all the nodes across the ship?
Yes, I have access to all of the ship's systems.
I'd like to ask you a question about the antimatter bomb.
Ask away.
I've disarmed the bomb by stopping the countdown. I remember something about antimatter being unstable, however, and I'm worried about this thing going off.
If you were going to hang on to the bomb for days or weeks, I would be more concerned. As it is, the bomb should remain stable for at least the next few days.
Should I get rid of it?
You might find a use for it. I would advise you to take the bomb with you to the surface.
Will it go off if I reset the timer and arm it?
Certainly. Yes?
Give me access to subsystems, please.
What systems? Access... Yes?
General inquiry.
Ask away.
I'd like to talk about the battle for Persephone.
Okay.
Was the Dharma completely destroyed?
Yes. The enemy ship was reduced to a cloud of gas and metal fragments. It is likely that one of those microfragments caused the damage in the stateroom on Deck 2.
Why didn't the enemy drones use nuclear anti-ship missiles? They could have taken out the Lexington a hell of a lot faster than they did.
The enemy drones were probably trying to disable the Lexington and Jericho rather than destroy them. I suspect the UN wanted to put the Lexington out of action and then board the Jericho. They were probably very curious about the artifact and the mission.
What happened to the Dharma's drones?
I suspect they were recalled to the Dharma after the Lexington surrender. They were on board the Dharma when Captain Dana detonated the warhead.
How did the Dharma know where we were going?
The most logical explanation is that there was a UN agent involved in the operation planning phase for this mission. There might also have been an agent on board the Lexington. It is not beyond the realm of possibility that there was an agent at a high level of Allied command, as well as an agent on board the ship.
Did everyone in both crews go over in the shuttles as planned?
Everyone but you.
Were there any casualties during the battle itself?
Only minor injuries.
Why didn't Dana leave more people on the Lexington?
It was a desperate gamble as it was. The Dharma's crew knew the extent of the damage to both Alliance ships. Garrick, the UN commander, was well aware that there hadn't been any breach of the inner hull on the Lexington. There wasn't a good reason for heavy casualties. Also, I'm reasonably certain that Dana was aware of the possibility that one of the Lexington staff officers was a spy. Dana was trying to maximize his chances of success by leaving just you aboard.
Why me?
He knew you weren't a UN agent. He also believed in your unconventional approach to problem solving. He made a high-level, special request for your assignment to the crew shortly before the Lexington was scheduled to depart. I'm sure there were other reasons that I'm not qualified to speculate about, given my limited capabilities.
Why do you think he suspected a spy?
For the same reasons I do. Look at the facts.
You don't seem very limited to me.
You flatter me.
The odds are very much against me.
You're doing pretty well, Lieutenant.
I'm done. General...
Ask a...
Let's talk...
Okay.
What is the status of the Jericho?
The Jericho suffered minor damage during the battle. The Lexington was the primary target for the attacking enemy drones.
How can I get the Ariadna over to the Lexington?
Use the TCS in the comm center to establish a link with the Jericho. Enter the code name Jacob's Ladder when the Jericho's system demands authentication. Jacob's Ladder is the automated launch program for the planetary lander. The Jericho's systems will resume the launch preparations that were aborted when the UN drones attacked. The launch protocols can be carried out through remote operation, including the initialization of a computer-based autopilot on the lander that can be used to steer the lander over to the Lexington.
Can I do anything else with the Jericho systems?
What do you have in mind?
Pulling both ships out of immediate danger so we can wait for reinforcements.
You are choosing to abandon the mission?
No.
Okay.
Ramming enemy capital ships if they appear.
That would not be advisable. You would destroy the planetary lander and any hope of completing the mission.
Never mind.
Okay.
Do I have to steer the lander from the Jericho to the Lexington myself?
No. The onboard computer will take care of the piloting. All you need to do is specify a destination and a homing beacon frequency.
A homing beacon frequency? What's that all about?
The lander's autopilot will need either the Lexington's exact position or the frequency of the Lexington's homing beacon. If it knows the homing beacon frequency and the beacon is activated, then the lander can ride the beam from the beacon into the shuttle bay on Deck 6. Because giving the lander's computer a continual update of the Lexington's position is not feasible, I suggest you supply the autopilot with the Lexington's homing beacon frequency.
Will I need to pilot the lander to the surface of the planet once I manage to get aboard?
No. There is a descent profile for Persephone already loaded into the autopilot. Simply engage the autopilot once you are on board and select the Persephone Auto-Land program. The lander will touch down as near to the artifact as it can.
What about getting back?
The lander has enough fuel to bring you back to the Lexington. Choose Ascent to Orbit from the autopilot program choices and then ride the beam of the homing beacon back to the Lexington.
How much does that lander carry in the way of supplies?
It was designed for ferrying cargo and personnel to the surface. There is a great deal of payload capacity, but it is currently being used for scientific instrumentation and sensors. The initial descent was to be made by a team of scientists who were planning to stay only a few hours. There are minimal consumable supplies on board the lander.
So I should plan on a limited stay on the surface.
Yes, you may need to ferry back and forth.
How do I refuel the lander?
Fly it back to the Jericho and engage the Jacob's Ladder program. It will fuel and prep the lander and then launch it again.
I'm done.
Acknowledge.
Give me...
What's it?
Communications.
What do you wish to know?
General System Status Report, please.
The Tachyon communication system is inoperative due to a failure in one of the external subsystems. All other communication systems are operating within acceptable parameters.
What is wrong with the TCS?
2 optoelectronic modules in the system bus of the TCS transceiver targeting and control mechanism were fused by an enemy energy pulse. The affected modules were responsible for managing the interface between the computer systems on the ship and the servo actuators that are used to physically align the transceiver with the tachyon relay beacon and track the beacon once locked on.
Say that again, in English.
Delicate motors are used to move the TCS dish on the hull of the ship into position so that it can talk to the tachyon relay beacon near the jump point in this star system. As the Lexington travels around Persephone, the motors are supposed to move the TCS dish so that it remains pointed at the beacon. 2 vital optoelectronic modules in the dish control system have been damaged. The TCS dish is frozen in a useless position as a result. These modules need to be replaced in order for the communication system to work.
Aren't there backup systems?
There is no online backup system for the TCS dish. There are spares for all TCS subsystems in storage. Repairs are possible even in the case of a direct hit on the TCS dish.
Which modules are damaged?
The standard module ID codes for the inoperative modules are EC2001 and EC2010.
Where are the damaged modules located?
The system bus for the TCS dish is located behind an access panel on the base of the dish antenna structure.
I should turn my mic back on more often.
Where's the dish located?
It is mounted on the outside of the habitat module of the Lexington. It is forward and to port from the Shuttle Bay airlock.
Does that mean I need to go outside to fix the system?
Yes. You will need to don an EVA suit, depressurize the shuttle bay, open the shuttle bay external doors, and travel along the hull until you reach the dish.
Is there any way to repair the damage without leaving the inside of the ship?
No.
That was terse. You got any beans, my friend? Beans and hot dogs are the bitter end, if you ask me. Particularly black beans and hot dogs. See you around, my friend. Come back anytime you like. I will be here. I definitely will. We're probably going to go for another 45 minutes or so. I'm going to try and get down to Persephone. See if I can't.
Where can I find replacement EC2001 and EC2010 modules?
There should be spare EC2001 and EC2010 modules in the secure storage area on Deck 2.
And whatever you do, have a good day, my friend. Do enjoy it. Thank you for stopping in.
There aren't any air tanks to go with the spacesuit.
How odd. The crew must have taken the spares when they evacuated.
How am I going to do an EVA repair without oxygen?
I'm sorry. I don't know how you can get oxygen for your suit. You're going to have to figure this one out on your own.
I'm done.
Acknowledge.
Give...
What's it?
Weapons.
Please specify.
I'm done.
Acknowledge.
Alright, well, we know what to do
Access.
now. I'm going to throw down a save. Alright, so we know what we're doing here. We need to fix the TCS dish, which I keep wanting to call the TCF, or the TPS dish, and you ask if it's filed all of its proper sheets. Okay, now we know one of the parts we already looked at. I think it's the 2010. They mentioned he stole the part. Yeah, the 2001 was used in the holo unit up in the recreation deck. He used it as to fix that, so that part is up there. So we'll have to go get one of those. We also need a 2010, which is this way. Alright, I got a 2010 spare. And then walk out here. We need to go get the other one. Thank you. Which I believe is on 4?
Deck 4.
No, deck 4's quarters. It's gonna have to be on deck 3? It's not 6, because 6 was the... Looks like... med science shit. No, that was 5. 6 was nothing.
Deck 3.
Yeah, there it is. No, I don't want to use it. Oh God, how very Windows 95 was that music? Alright, I got a nasty shock apparently. This is the VR system CPU, a sophisticated computer system that in its own right contained a sophisticated computer system in its own right contained in a small box. The VR system CPU is built around one of the more powerful optoelectronic control modules that are standard for most of the ship's electronic systems. You yank on one of the power cables. Nothing happens. You pull on it again, this time even harder. Something gives with a pop near the main sphere of the VR system. The red beam connecting the CPU to the metal arm dies away. It appears that you have disabled the VR system. So let's remove the CPU. We'll open it. You push on a ridge that runs around the outside of the plastic case. The CPU case pops open and you find an EC2001 module nestled inside. You take the EC2001 module and discard the shell of the VR CPU. Awesome. This is an electronic device of some kind. It has two lenses set a few centimeters apart that make it look almost like a set of binoculars. The device is made of a flat plastic and has a dull red LED on top and a small switch set into one side. So it looks like a bioptic, like, defrauder, disguise, or whatever you want to call it. I don't put the bulkhead anywhere. God dang it. It likes to jump your mouse back to the middle of the screen, so you end up walking forward when you don't think you're actually pointing at that. Okay, no problem. Go when you gotta go, friend. Go when you gotta go. We're gonna use this. We're gonna go back to deck 2, because this looks like the very thing I need to dupe that safe and get into it.
Deck 2.
Probably it would be very good if I got into that safe. Which is on the other side of the building, or ship. I think it's in here. Yes. You hold the device up to the retinal scanner so that the lenses line up with the eyepiece on the scanner, but nothing happens. You flip the switch on the side of the device and the red LED on top lights up. You also hear a very faint humming noise. You hold the device up to the retinal scanner so that the two lenses line up with the eyepiece on the scanner. The retinal scanner senses the presence of the device and begins its scan. After chattering to itself for a moment, the scanner becomes quiet again. The safe doesn't open. You retrieve the device. Officer Dahl, huh? Lieutenant Michael Dahl. Didn't really want to turn you off, I wanted to look in. So Jewel True, the Miracle Dark, probably Michael Dahl. And you hold the device up to the retinal scanner so the two lenses line up with the eyepiece on the scanner. The retinal scanner senses the presence of the device and begins its scan. After chattering to itself for a moment, the scanner clicks, and then the door to the safe pops open a few centimeters. You'll still need to open the safe door to see what is inside. Turn off my retinal scanner. Open up the safe. Well then, what is all this? This appears to be a glass ampule containing an amber liquid. You can see a faint legend on the side of the ampule. The lettering spells out Hype Serum 18 ml. This is a standard medical hypo. I didn't really want you to close the safe. I want you to take the hypo. This is a heavy cable with connectors on both ends. I'll take it. This is a bulky headset that resembles the old head-mounted devices that used to be synonymous with virtual reality. Somehow you suspect that the bulk here has more to do with the state-of-the-art obonic and neural interfaces rather than primitive silicon-based electronics. I'm gonna take that. This is a red folder bearing a prominent top secret stamp. Inside you can see a pile of fax print documents. You take the red folder from the safe, and you now close the empty safe. You open the folder. There's a pile of fax print documents inside. After emptying out the contents of the folder, you discard it. So this is the Hype Telecom system documentation, huh? The TX-15 Hype Telecom system provides for real-time human control of battle drones during ship-to-ship combat. The system consists of a new software for the drones and ship's main computer, a direct neural interface between the main computer and the system operator, and a mutagenic serum to be ingested by the operator. This serum, known as Hype, facilitates interaction with the computer software and increases the speed of thought processing in the operator's cerebral cortex. So unless I'm mistaken, this is gestalting. Huh. Neat. So it's a Gestalt system. That's actually pretty badass. Of course, if Dahl was in fact the weapons helmsman, then yeah, he would controlling the drones with a neural interface would be badass. So the ampule is in the serum, or in the hypodermic. The cable is on the headset. I mean, I can put it on the headset, but there's no reason. Oh, okay. I can wear the headset if I want. Matter of fact, I don't see how to take it off. Oh. Okay, so I can't take it off. There we go. You work your way into the vacuum suit, performing the awkward hands up and sleeves over maneuver to get your upper body into the tight confines of the suit. Okay, so I've disassembled the cutting torch. And I'm going to put the oxygen tank on the vacuum suit. Okay, so should I put it on the helmet then? The vac suit helmet is a pretty cool container, eh? If you put something into the helmet, you can see it through the visor. Unfortunately, you may well damage the oxygen-powered environmental regulators inside the helmet. You'd better not. Well, I have the parts. I need to go outside. Okay, kids, I'm going to take a short break. Bio break, get some water, maybe find a biscuit. Biscuits. And I will be right back. I will leave you with the scintillating synth tunes of Mission Critical. Back in a tick. Stop scrolling. There we go. Motherfuck. Thank you. Hi, I'm back. I was talking too, but XSplit decided it wanted to turn my mic off again. Okay. Deck 6 is shut, I believe.
Deck 6.
Yeah. Yeah. Alright, since this is a little touchy, we're going to save first, and I'm going to exit. I'm going to make sure that I am wearing the helmet. Okay, except you haven't told me how I'm supposed to put the oxygen supply in. I have an oxygen tank. Where the fuck do you want me to put it? Okay, how can I do this? There we go. Whew. Dies in the beginning and becomes a robot? Not offhand. That's a good one, though. That's... Alright, I want to walk out into, like, space. You'd have to be holding a space before you can attach it to the shuttle bay. Oh, there it is. No, there it isn't. There we go. I knew I could get out there. Be really easier if I had a damn idea what I was looking for. Well, yeah, but you don't want to let me get any closer. So what am I supposed to do? Ah, there we go. Open the access panel. Remove the defective module. Install the working modules. Close the access panel. Hopefully I did just install the proper ones. Yes, I did. Good, good, good. And now comes the extremely disorientating task of trying to get the fuck back on the ship. Hey, what do you know? I made it. I'm alive! I'm alive! Okay. After your last EVA to fix the communication systems, you find there's very little oxygen left in the tank from the oxyacetylene torch. The tank is no longer good for much, so you discard it. Let's close the shuttle bay doors just as an exercise in not being, you know, stupid. Pressurize, or not depressurize, let's pressurize. Oh, what's wrong with JTV today? May I ask, may I ask? Hopefully I'm okay, because I seem to be okay on my broadcast monitors. Excuse me. 1 second. It's weird, yeah. Well, if the chat's fucked up, then yeah, it's likely other things are going sideways too. Phone, work. Yeah, chat's been fucked up for a while now. Alright, so we need to go back up to 2 to the comm center. You know, it's a free service. I don't pay nothing to use them.
Deck 2.
I honestly have no ability to complain about Twitch for the most part. You know, I'm not making money off of them. If I was making money off of them, I might complain a little. They don't pay me nothing, though. And, you know, that's fine. I'm a guy with a max concurrent viewers of 10, you know. My ability to get money from them is pretty minimal right now. You bring up the TCS control interface over and override the distress call by entering Melissa, the Melissa password that Tran gave you. You now have access to the TCS and the Interstellar Positioning System. You remember that Tran said something about establishing a link with Erebus through a web of TRB beacons stationed at jump points around the stars. The IPS will allow you to select and link up with the TRB beacons by clicking on icons displayed on a stylized map screen. Except I'm bad at StarCraft, so, you know, that really won't earn me anything. Establish relay link. Where am I trying to get? That's actually the hard part. Okay. Back one, node, back one. Your FTL communication was traced back to the Lexington by the UN Special Signal Intelligence Corps. The IPS network has been disabled. You could not get the information that you need in order to activate the Lexington's defensive weapon systems and fight off an impending UN attack. You died. I get to do the EVA over again! Yay! God damn it. The automatically back to the middle thing keeps getting me all screwed up. Alright, so we're out of the gear now. Back up to deck 2.
Deck 2.
And again, I would turn the wrong direction. Oh wow, the arrow keys do actually handle directions. Alright. Alright, put in the... Now we need to reestablish the link. That is a safe target. That appears to have established absolutely nothing, so... we need to be careful here. Insert disc 1.
This is Admiral Charles Decker. Stand by for authentication of your Jasmine transmission. Authentication is Alpha Niner 0, Niner Tango 4, 8 Hotel Sierra.
Go ahead.
Given the Jasmine coding for this transmission, I assume that this is the Lexington. You've been out of touch for quite some time. Since our last communication with you, we've come across a potential threat to the success of the mission.
God, alarm.
I need to talk to Captain Dana right away.
I'm afraid he's dead. So is the rest of the crew.
They're dead,
I'll
Dave.
fill you in on what's happened.
Hell, Lieutenant. The situation couldn't be much worse.
At least the Dharma was destroyed and the Lexington is back in action. There is a chance that I can continue the mission.